we're here with Aiden, and we wanted to talk about the Oregon bond.
Yeah.
We've had clients use it and are really impressed when it's an offer for people, and we were hoping you could talk to us a little bit more about it.
Of course. So Oregon Bond is a first-time homebuyer program. As long as you haven't owned a property in the last 3 years, you are considered a first-time homebuyer. And Oregon Bond offers 2 different programs. So we have a rate advantage and a cash advantage program through Oregon Bond. These programs can be paired with a conventional FHA, VA, or USDA first mortgage. And the rate advantage program is currently at giving you a better than market interest rate.
So it's almost like a whole percentage point less.
Yeah. Okay. Typically, it's going to be about a percentage point less.
Yeah, and that can really make a difference for people.
That's fantastic.
A huge difference in monthly payment when we're looking at those numbers.
And is one of these down payment assistance, or is it only closing cost assistance?
It's only closing costs assistance. So it's going to go towards all of your prepaid taxes and insurance, lender fees, escrow fees.
Who would be the typical home buyer that would qualify for these programs? What would the circumstances look like for them? Is it open to anybody?
So open to anybody that's a first-time home buyer, given that they're under the income limits. Oregon Bond is a household income limit program. So for an example, if the 2 of you were first-time home buyers and went to buy a house in Woodstock, you would need to be under the income limit of $123,038, some odd change.
Okay.
So combined. So typically, I would say you can't be making more than $123,000 annually together. Now, if you had a kid and you all were looking to buy a house, and obviously your child was going to be living with you, that's a 3-person household, which then puts you at an income limit of $141,547 annually.
Wow.
Okay, well, our kid's 23, so I don't think he gets to count.
The kid does have to be
stay at home sometimes.
I do think the kid has to be claimed as a dependent for that to be like a thing.
Good point.
But it also could not be husband and wife. It could be 2 friends looking to buy. And as long as those 2 friends were under the income limit for the household, they could also qualify.
Which more and more people are doing because of the price of housing is joining together their finances.
Yeah. And I mean, if you have been renting with a friend for 3 years and you guys live great together, then why not? I mean, go in and on it together, come up with an agreement that's written out, and then buy together.
All right. We escaped the rain and came over to Heart Coffee for a delicious cup of coffee.
Woohoo.
What did you get, Aiden?
I got a small hazelnut latte with oat milk.
I forgot what I ordered. I'm okay.
And unfortunately, I don't drink coffee anymore, so I got a golden milk. We were excited to talk to them about how they roast their own coffee and use fair labor practices. This is a great place to support, and it's close to Woodstock and the Brentwood-Darlington area.
Yes.
Okay, that was our promotion for local business.
There's lots of other programs out there. I think getting it out of the way, first off, VA and USDA are 0% down programs. So VA is going to be if you're a veteran, you can definitely look into the VA loan and 0% down program options. And USDA is also 0% down, and that is going to be if you're looking in more rural areas. Outside of those 2 programs, there is another program called Oregon Flex, and it's through the state of Oregon as well. So very similar to the Oregon Bond program.
I've heard of the Oregon Flex recently.
Yep.
Tell us more about that.
Oregon Flex, I believe it's conventional and FHA are your 2 options for it. And that's for the first mortgage. There's a second mortgage that the down payment is coming from. You can get up to 4% in down payment assistance or down payment funds from the second mortgage. And right now, the set rate for the first mortgage, if we're talking conventional, is 7.25%. And then for the second mortgage, you're at an 8.25% interest rate.
So about 1 percentage point
So
higher.
1% higher, regardless of where we're at for rates when we're talking about doing Oregon Flex.
Okay.
Now, if you did an Oregon Flex FHA loan, and you did 3.5% down, your second mortgage can cover your down payment of 3.5%.
Okay.
And that other 0.5%, because it's a total of 4%. So that other 0.5% can then be applied towards your closing costs.
Okay, because you can't combine Oregon Bond and Oregon Flex at the same time.
Yeah, so we can't combine Oregon Bond with Oregon Flex. Oregon Bond is one of the only programs where you can't layer most down payment assistance programs. You can layer Portland Housing Center MAP funds with Oregon Bond, which is a whole nother thing.
Okay, hold tight. So stay tuned. We've got some tips from Aiden coming up. And also, the burning question that I often have is, what's the catch?
And there's usually a catch, because there's no free money as much as we think there is.
Okay.
What?
I know, it's crazy.
All right, so share what you are going to share, please.
So Oregon Bond, the catch for that one is going to be that there is a recapture tax. So if
recapture,
yes, if let's say you bought a house today for $450,000 and the two of you bought it, you're under the income limit for the household of $123,000. And within the next 9 years, so from now, 9 years forward, if you go to sell within those first 9 years, and at the time, let's say you're going to go sell in 2030, and at the time, the Oregon Bond income limit has adjusted to $130,000 for a two-person household.
Okay.
If you're making over $130,000 when you go to sell within those first 9 years, you owe the recapture tax.
Okay.
This
is important to know about. Like, again, there's no free money, but what it is it's accessible money that gives you a foot in the door when that coming up with closing costs and getting a down payment just seem so far out of reach for a family or a person.
Yeah.
And also something that you need to take into account is that in 9 years, probably the equity in that house that you're purchasing now is going to pay for whatever
it's going to be a little portion of what you're selling for.
What does the recapture tax look like? What does the recapture tax look like?
6% of the loan amount. So whatever the loan amount is, you owe 6% of that at the time that you purchased. So whatever your starting loan amount was.
So if you borrowed $100,000, it would be $6,000.
But you can't borrow $100,000 on Oregon Bond.
Okay.
You can only borrow 3% of the loan amount on Oregon Bond. Cash advantage.
So this gets complicated.
Yes. So technically you are going to owe double what you borrowed on average, right around.
Okay.
Because if you're able to get 3% of the loan amount and the recapture tax is 6%, you're doubling what you borrowed.
You're paying for that service.
Yeah.
You're paying for that. And are there any instances where that might be forgiven?
On Oregon Bond, no. On other programs like 0% down where you're getting a second mortgage, so Oregon Flex, if you fit a focused demographic, your second mortgage can be silent, meaning that it's not repayable.
Okay. And do you need to fit those demographics for the whole period of your loan?
Just for when you purchase it.
Okay, interesting. What do you think the percentage of borrowers that you and your team work with are using programs like this?
That's a great question. Goodness, I would say half of the pipeline right now is using a program like that. I would say about 50%. And I talk to so many people who they are always concerned about, is this the right thing? Or should I be doing this? Do other people use these programs? And the answer is yes. A lot of other people out there use these programs. A ton of them.
Right.
I have another question. All the lenders are working with the same information? All the lenders have the access to these kind of programs, or no, all of them?
Not all of them. So you have to be an approved lender for Oregon Bond. And right now, Oregon Bond isn't accepting any new lenders.
I'd heard that.
So there's a lot of people I know out there that would love to be approved with Oregon Bond, and they aren't.
Right.
Which, I mean, it is a really awesome program to have access to.
So would you say that your team was an early adopter? You pay
Yes.
attention to like what's going on and what's available, see
Yes.
how you can make it.
Definitely. We hopped right on it as soon as we were able to be approved for it. I mean,
Yeah.
having access to as many programs like this as possible, it changes a lot of factors for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
very important. And again, sometimes I have asked other lenders, this is any other programs that you know that there is for my clients that they could apply for down payment assistance or something, and they said, no, we really don't have any, but we can get you the best deal in the interest rates. Sometimes the best deal on the interest rates doesn't translate as what you can get in these programs.
I would agree. I think a great interest rate is awesome, especially for someone who's super payment conscientious.
Mm-hmm.
Down payment assistance, though, for someone who only has $5,000 in their pocket is going to change the game. And I mean, I have a client of my own right now in contract to buy a tiny little condo, but they only have to come in with $3,000.
Wow.
Which seems almost unheard of.
Yeah.
Back in the day when they would give you loans if you just had a pulse.
Yeah, before all the craziness happened and things changed.
Well, excellent. Thanks for talking with us more about that. And we're
course.
excited to explore your neighborhood of Brentwood, Darlington.
Yes, it's my favorite.
I know the rain has finally stopped, so we should go and explore a little bit.
Yes, we should. Plus, it's a great area for first-time home buyers.
It's Tabby Tidbit time.